Hi, Amy.
Heavy.
We just watched Before the 90 Days, Season 8, Episode 13. I hesitate to ask you if you have any thoughts because I'm scared.
And you have good reason to. This was not an enjoyable episode. I had to take several breaks. And then I also had to pause it for a decent amount of time to go back and finish it because I was I don't even know what the word is, irritated, disgusted, appalled. It was not a positive episode in any capacity.
No, I agree. Before we dive in this week, let's do a quick 1, 2. 1, rate, review, and follow us wherever you listen to the podcast. Please and thank you. 2, watch us on YouTube at 90 Day Fiancé. Honestly. And now we may begin with Lisa and Daniel. Take it away, Amy.
God. So Lisa's hungover. I wonder why. She is completely spiraling over what transpired the evening prior, but she has plans to take him away. And my question is, with what money? Whose money? And she thinks that he's desperately in love with her. And I say he's desperate for a green card.
I think there are very few people who would disagree with that statement. I'd absolutely loved the way that she said, what was it? I think Daniel loves me desperately and he's heartbroken because of his response to her when, after she had told him about her many marriages. Yeah, really, he's milking this for all it's worth. I wanted to mention, and this is just a tiny little thing, that at the beginning of their segment, they showed Lisa, who was putting on her makeup and getting ready for the day. They showed her putting on deodorant. And I think this was a very carefully chosen moment because the producers don't put anything into the show without deliberate thought. For example, last week when we saw her having some stomach issues, like there are certain things that don't necessarily need to be shown because it casts you in a certain light as being kind of, smelly or stinky or not able to control your bowels. And this, I think, was one of those delightful moments when we get to see what the crew actually thinks of Lisa because of them having chosen this specific moment. But yes, let's go on to the romantic getaway, which, yes, she cannot afford, but she has already paid for. And so she must at all costs get Daniel to agree to go with her because otherwise she's wasting all of this money. Presumably they're not paying for the hotel in Lagos while they go off to this other thing. So she can't afford both of them. One final note. He is laying it on so thick when he says he cried until 5 a.m. in the morning after he found out that she was still married and was married 5 times. Like, what is he, a 12-year-old? What is going on with this man? This is not real. This is not true. It cannot possibly be.
Yeah, I thought that was a bit much. And then, him saying that he was worried about, the ancestors coming after him from the afterlife, and yet doesn't mention again that he's going to be exiled. Do not worry about, what's going to happen currently. No, you're okay. And then, so they do go off onto their little adventure, and he seems to be in surprisingly good spirits, which I found very strange. And
he's
oh my God,
sighing all the time. He's sighing. It's like he's being tortured constantly. It's like he's being dragged against his will on this trip.
Look at the company he keeps. I think my favorite thing about this entire episode was the baby goat.
I didn't see it.
Did you see the baby goat?
No. I missed a baby goat? What?
I think it walked right towards the camera. My notes in caps locks, baby goat. That is the most positive thing that happened in this. Yeah. Yeah. And he says, he's upset about her lies. He's going to try his best to have a good time, clearly, so that he can get his green card tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. But I love the way that this works for him. I love the way that he says, I'll go with you, but okay, here are my boundaries. There's going to be no sex. There's going to be no kissing.
Yeah.
I have to get the oracle's permission first. We have to consult with them first because the ancestors may be mad at me. So he can call a halt to any and all intimacy at any time, any place, or any moment that he feels that Lisa commits some kind of error. He can say, no, stop, stop, stop. Relationship is on pause while we consult with the oracle. So it's very convenient. I realize this is his religion. I'm not trying to make fun of his religion, but I'm just saying he's using it in this circumstance to his advantage very, very effectively.
Yes.
And the other thing is
Okay, so
the
let me
resort itself as a metaphor for their relationship, it's run down. It is not as advertised. It is desolate.
and those were her words.
Mhm.
Love that for you. And she also said that it was in her price range. And again, whose price range is it? Is it Jane's? And then when they get into the hotel room and there's that spider and he starts like kicking it towards her, all I could think of was that spider that was in your room when we were in Cuba and how it was
Oh
like the
god.
size of a dinner plate. And this one was so tiny in comparison. And I didn't even see the one that was in your hotel room. And her screaming about it? God. Yeah, that gave me a good laugh. And then he says that he's worried about his uncle canceling the marriage. And I really don't think that that is going to be a factor when, as we've seen, he just wants the green card. Everyone wants him to have the green card. So do
Mhm.
you really think that he's going to cancel the wedding? Like, I don't understand why. I mean, I kind of do. Like, why? I don't know. He just keeps hanging this over her head, like, do and be better, or I won't go with you. But at the same time, like, I need that green card.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic where he is definitely trying to put himself in a position of power over her by saying, you've done these wrong things and you have to pay the price. But at the same time, he's going to forgive her no matter what she does because he needs this passage to the United States more than anything else. So you know before it even
Yeah.
happens that when she tells him that her past marriages were with women, that he's going to forgive her. He has no choice, even though he's saying, "Don't come close to me," and he's basically exploding like a nuclear bomb. He is going to calm down. He is going to say, "Okay, well, the oracles say it's all right for me to continue."
And, so he goes about it by saying, his uncle might cancel the marriage. And he seems to be more worried about that than he is about her pooping on him again.
Yes.
Okay. I guess our priorities are completely different.
Yeah, it's kind of absurd,
Okay.
but I'm here for it. Is there anything else you'd like to say about Lisa and Daniel, or shall we read on?
Uh, just so that whatever bike that they had was 100% better than a tandem bike. And when she finally comes out with my last marriage wasn't with a man, I think that was the only time that I laughed during this episode. And like that was one of the last scenes that we had in this episode. So I feel like we actually ended on a high point because I did laugh. But I think the rest of it is just utter trash. Okay.
Okay, are you complete?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Let's
Right.
continue.
Reading on to Laura and BeerCon. Good freaking Lord. I feel like both Laura and Lisa
Hmm.
are with teenagers. Daniel is a teenager because of his dramatics and the crying all night long. BeerCon is a teenager because he refers to a picture that she shows him of Mount St. Helens as Boobs Mountain. Thank you. Thank you very much. You may
Mount
now exit
boobs.
stage left.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Yes. And she says that he's a walking surprise machine.
He says that about himself. It is
Oh,
not the
does oh.
flex that you believe it is, BeerCon.
I thought that the location that they went to looked absolutely incredible. I thought that was visually very, very appealing. I loved all the cats. And, he says that the cats are protective spirits. And my comment was, I really hope that they run away from you. There's only a finite amount of energy that spirits can give. And I think that in order to protect him and his negative proclivities might be too much than what they want to invest in.
Well, at this beautiful location, Lisa brings up the topic of Michael, who has already bought himself a ticket to Turkey, which is a surprise to everybody. And it's obvious. The only reason why Birkan doesn't want this guy around is because he doesn't want Michael to negatively influence Laura's opinion of Birkan. But the way that he goes about responding to this news, and for the rest of the segment, the rest of the episode, is so petulant. I had a hard time even watching. I kept having to look away from the screen. That expression on his face, like a teenager who's having a tantrum. Like, why isn't she running away from this man immediately? He's not worth the time or the breath that Laura expends on him. Insolent, petulant, irritating man-child.
And that's when I messaged you. It was after that
Okay.
scene that I sent you that message, and I said, I have to pause this and take a break and finish this later because this is infuriating.
Hmm.
Him saying that Michael is coming without her asking if that was okay. Ugh, he's angry because Michael is an obstacle to getting his green
Yes.
card. And, when they're sitting there, okay, he's doing shots of wine. What? Okay. And instead of, saying cheers in his language, he says cheers. I feel like that is just, my God, dude, stop,
Mhm.
stop. What are you trying to achieve with your attitude, with your behavior? And then he comes out with this, oh my God, you declined my existence in this relationship. Now I have doubts.
His behavior is really despicable. I think the reason why he said cheers in English rather than using Turkish to say it is just because he's trying to suck all the fun out of it for Laura. She was enjoying that moment. She just learned how to say
Yeah.
cheers in Turkish. She was practicing, she was having fun with it. And the way that he was chugging the wine is a way to say, I'm not enjoying this activity. So I'm making that very clear to you passive aggressively without actually saying anything about it. So he was just being a total jerk. The one comment that stood out for me was I think when they were still at the temple of Ephesus, is that he said to her that this relationship could be his worst mistake. And I was like, oh, that's kind. Just go for the gut punch. Why don't you? Like it's not his mistake to make, it's hers to make because she is great. She's providing potentially him with the green card, going to the United States, getting a new life, getting rid of his debt, paying off his debtors if that's what she plans to do, and just having all of these opportunities given to him. Whereas what is she getting? Half balding, scrawny dude who pretends to be some kind of philosopher poet who doesn't know a poetry line from his asshole. He's just such a freaking jerk. It drives me batty that she's still with him.
I mean, he really does have a way with his words, with Boob Mountain. Just
Poetic.
this guy is we've had quite a few people on the show that have or that has I don't like to overuse the word trigger, but like I feel like this was quite triggering because he was just such a dick. His attitude was so over the top. It was like I can't, I'm with you. I can't believe that she's putting up with this. I feel like she's just so invested in her smutty fantasy novels that she's just like the colored glasses or whatever it is. She's just playing into it, just overlooking all of the complete and utter red flags. And when Michael comes over or when Michael's on his way over, she says, "Be careful." And he says, "I'm not saying hi."
Yeah,
Dude.
charming.
Then he comes out with the whole like, "I'm watching Scarface. I like the violence. Do you like violence?" And I thought that that was, had I not been so irritated by his behavior, I may have laughed. But he said that he likes the violence. Okay, so that part was the one that may have made me laugh. But with those scrawny arms, dude, you like the violence? Okay. I don't think that you would be able to get into a fist fight and win with a turtle. So you really need to look at the situation in its entirety. Like Michael could lay you out in a second.
Yeah.
In an absolute second. You have nothing. The guy probably weighs like 140 pounds, if that, soaking wet, and his biceps are like this big.
Mhm. I know, it's laughable that he's sitting there clutching at his vape like it's some kind of a murderous weapon, and he wants to use it on Michael, who he doesn't get up for when Michael first arrives. He waits until the very last possible second as if to say, "You are not worth it to me, buddy. I'm only getting up because you are now approaching me and you're in my space." Yeah, and that veiled threat was really unnecessary, completely uncalled for. This guy's just arrived. Why are you being so mean towards him and threatening him in this way? I wish Laura had stayed in the room. I wish she was there to see this because it was so completely disrespectful. The sarcasm was just dripping from Birkan as he was speaking to Michael. And it was as if he was like, it was as if Michael had to pull teeth in order to engage in a conversation with Birkan because he wouldn't look at him. His answers were very short, very snarky, very snide. He sneered at him. And then do you like violence? I like violence. That undercurrent there, the machismo, was just utterly gross. It's not necessary. This is somebody who is the friend to the woman that you intend to marry. I understand he feels threatened by him, but isn't it better to assert the solidity of your relationship by being confident rather than threatening and acting like a little scrawny teenager who's trying to fight with, I don't know, a goat, a baby goat? It's not necessary. The baby goat is just there to be your friend.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what else to say about that. Like, his behavior was just so. I mean, maybe that's the theme of this episode is just abhorrent behavior. And like, what do you think you're going to gain from this? And I think, even if he's still trying to sell himself to Laura, wouldn't it be better if he played nice as
Mhm.
opposed to pulling this shit?
Yep, exactly. Shall we read on?
But he's a petulant child. Please.
All right, on to Elise, Joshua, and what's his name? Chris.
Their
Elise
affairs.
is bursting out of her teeny tiny microscopic top. The camera has to blur her left breast because her areola is showing. Always a good look. And what do you know? They've missed the race, the entire point of taking her out to the bar. The race is now completed and done. They haven't been able to see it because they get stuck in traffic. So, what is the point? Why are they bothering to continue on to this bar? I don't know. Except that the
And it's
cheers
just a bar.
that Joshua makes towards Chris is just hilarious. You're not toasting your girlfriend who's just newly arrived in Australia. You're toasting your best friend.
This was just so strange. And, you know, I don't know, one of them made the comment that, it's his job, it's Joshua's job to drive boats. And the comment is
Hmm.
into rocks. Like, I feel like a third wheel watching watching the two of them or watching the three of them. I don't even feel like a fourth wheel because that would be, you know,
Even.
even, equal. No, I felt like a third wheel watching this. And, I had a moment where I felt bad for her because, she's 32 and I feel like she looks older than me. And I'm not aging myself at this point, but I am older than she is. And, that amount of work that you've had done hasn't done as much as what you think it is. Like, it's done worse for you. It's almost like a Stacey Darcy kind of thing. You look so
Mm.
much older than what you are. And I've seen it like all over online, like especially on Reddit. People are questioning how old she is. I don't know, that wasn't the actual topic of this episode, but calm down with the
Botox?
Botox, with the fillers. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Anyway, so they go back to the house. Are we okay to go there? The apartment?
Well, the one comment that I think is important to point out that they made during the bar scene is that Joshua is a party boy. And Elise is definitely looking, she
Mhm.
says, for somebody who is ready to settle down and be financially responsible, somebody who has money, obviously, a steady income, and who spends it wisely rather than somebody who has not a steady income, which I think is the case for Joshua, and who goes out and spends it on drink heavy weekends. Okay, continue. The apartment, please.
I really think that she's barking up the wrong tree with that one. But anyway, so she walks in and she immediately starts complaining about how small the bathroom is.
Hmm.
And I wondered if it was because she was overly tired. It's like hangry, but
Maybe.
like overly tired. And then when they're talking, or she's asking about the photo over the bed, and they call it the moaning Lisa.
Yes.
Did you catch that?
Yes.
Gross. Anyway, I just I wouldn't be comfortable. What a weird way to say that word. I wouldn't feel comfortable with that
Comfortable.
picture hanging over my bed. Just it's so awkward. Like e- at- almost feel like this is like the two of them have Chris and Joshua have a relationship together, and she is the third wheel. And that was Chris's way of passive aggressively saying that he's watching over them and he
Mhm.
can't wait until she leaves so that he can have his man back.
Perhaps. I mean, there is always that possibility. Who knows? From my perspective,
I don't know, but
the
he does.
the apartment was quite luxurious. I was really surprised that it seemed to be a very fancy kind of place, and they're renting it, right? So it must be like a Airbnb or something because it's got all of the stuff in it, all of the furnishings. And appliance it. So, is he living within his means or not? That was one of my questions. And then when she arrives and she starts, as you said, picking everything apart, the closets, the bathroom, the space, and all of that stuff, I was like, okay, here we go. She has incredibly high standards, and she doesn't seem capable of reconciling those standards with how she expects Joshua to live. 'Cause even though she says, like, "I would have paid for half of the apartment," or, "He could have gotten something less fancy, and it would have been fine if it was smaller, and if it was just the 2 of us, that would have been fine." I don't think so. I don't quite believe her.
I'm really not sure. I'm not.
Okay.
I find like this is so staged. It's so contrived. I don't know how much production, like how much they had to do with it. Did they pay for it? Did they create this whole third wheel drama? It was so strange. I'm not sure. Though, I appreciate the fact that he was going to go spend the night on the couch, though I
Uh-huh.
really didn't appreciate the fact that she yelled at him from the bed, "Come and say goodnight to me. I want to show him what he could possibly have. Could you have not put on your pajamas, undergarments, whatever she was wearing, and be like, just stand in the door and be like, hey, I just want to say goodnight to you," and give him a kiss on the couch. Why would you call him in and then kick him out again?
I mean, it was perfectly staged with her lying sideways on the bed with her hips stuck up so that, it makes that curve. It was all the temptress stuff. I found it quite funny that she did it that way. I didn't mind it so much. It's like, I know she's teasing him. I know this is cruel in one sense, but then again, he's getting to see her body, which she wants to show off and which he appreciates. So, whatever. have fun with that.
As if he hasn't seen enough already.
That's true. That's true. But going back to the sleeping separately, I thought that was refreshing. I was like, "Yay, finally a couple who's
Mhm.
actually going to speak the words of I want to get to know this person before I get totally deeply involved with them and acts accordingly." I was like, "Great, good for you guys." Giving yourself a little bit of space to kind of fall into the wooing, to have that romantic process of step by step getting closer together rather than immediately betting each other and like, okay, smashing it. That's it. Okay, get out the rubber sheets now because we're going to do crazy stuff. This is nice.
Oh,
Yeah. Anyway,
ooh, too soon. Too
Joshua
soon.
hints at some things in his past that she may not like. Okay, ominous, but this is going to be something over and above stealing boats and crashing them into rocks and the fact that you live with another woman. Like, how much worse can it get?
I want to say committing felonies. I'm not entirely
Okay.
brushed up on my Australian laws, but a yacht is not cheap, so that's obviously theft over 5,000, probably fraud, and then you know, I don't know what it's like with the nature laws out there, but possibly mischief. I don't know, like, this seems like a litany of charges that this guy is just completely skirting over, and the fact that he wasn't fired, we talked about this last episode. How is this his last warning?
Yeah, and if he does have a criminal record of some kind as a result of all of these charges, he will not be allowed to move to the United States. She would have to move to Australia because we've seen this before on 90 Day where if you have a criminal record, you are not allowed to move to the US. You have to have a clean slate.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. Shall we read
Federal
on? I know
charges,
you're
though,
so excited.
I just wanna say one thing.
Mhm.
It's entirely possible that, these charges are still pending and,
Oh,
he hasn't been convicted yet. So he still has hope that he'll be able to beat them.
that could be as
Okay.
well. Yeah.
No, I don't
Yeah.
wanna read on, but
No,
I guess
I know, but we have to read
I
on
guess we
and
have
we
to.
will make it quick, okay? Jovon and Annalyn with a cat who's wearing a cone, which is so cute. And then the toilet is clogged. This is not cute. And here is your obligatory yearly reference
No.
to a bidet in every single freaking season of 90 Day Fiancé. And that's all I want to say.
I would like to bring up the one quote of, I forget their names, Devin and I forget his name, but my family anal so clean. Sorry,
I,
I
I
didn't
have to
notice you
make
were
sure
drinking.
I swallowed that quickly so it doesn't come out my nose. Yes,
I'm
nothing
so
beats
sorry.
that, really. Okay.
Yeah. No,
What do you wanna
I
say
don't
about
think that he
Jovon?
knows how to use the bidet.
No?
He seems to be the kind of guy that just doesn't know how to clean his butt properly, and then he blames her because the skid marks don't come out in the wash. Um, I
I'm
feel
leaving.
awful
Bye.
for her cat. I kind of really want to. Sorry. Okay,
Don't
back to
say
the
skid
cat. The
marks.
cat.
Please
I
don't
wanna
say
know what
skid
happened to the
marks.
cat. I'm very glad that they took the cat to the vet and the cat's okay. That was I mean, like, what an awful way to start their segment
Mhm.
in several different ways. Anyway, so they go and have, breakfast with her mom, and oh my god, that food looked so good, especially that tilapia, which looked, like, super crunchy and, mm. And the spring rolls and the noodles. And then he was complaining about the cat making noise. I think at that point, I would have just picked him up and thrown him out the door. The
Mm,
cat just went through a medical emergency, and you're complaining about the cat making noise. If my cats aren't
yes.
making noise, I'm concerned. Mm,
Okay. What else? Get it off your chest.
Her mom wants her to go back home with him for a better life. But I really don't think that her mom grasps the reality of what her life would be like moving to the States to be with him.
Mhm.
We've seen this time and time again. It's the American dream. It's going to be so much better than what you have. However, as we watch this couple in this episode alone, I think that she would be doing a complete and utter disservice to herself if she continued on with this relationship. This man's behavior, his opinions, his thought processes. Anyway, he's a despicable human being, and it was at this point that I had to shut my computer down and walk away. That's when I texted you. Like this, oh my God. Now I'm getting angry again. Whew. It took him 6 years to go and see her. He hasn't applied for a spousal visa. He complains about the amount of money that he spends on her, luxury that she's living in, how she needs to tone it down. This man,
Yes, so called.
a piece of shit is what I'm going to
Ooh,
call him.
okay.
He honestly just put him out to pasture at this point.
I think that we can all reliably lean on Anna for the observations that she makes about how he has changed since he started listening to these bro podcasts. I believe her
Yes.
completely when she says that he was different before and then he is now. And we see, obviously, we didn't see him before, so we don't have that eyewitness account, but we see what he's doing now, which is lazing around the apartment, lying on the bed while she is doing the dishes, cleaning up, doing laundry, putting things away, and he's just left his clothes, his underwear, socks strewn all over the floor like he's some kind of kid. It's quite reprehensible the way that he acts towards her like she's some kind of slave. But we also know that this is part and parcel of the bro culture that he's been listening to on podcasts. So it's not entirely surprising. However, that does not mean that I agree with it. I do not agree with it. I think that marriage is a partnership. And you can say, oh, well, he's providing all of the money for her to live, doing any financially responsible thing whatsoever, which is true. But they agreed between the two of them that she would not work because she has to stay up on American time, on US time, so she can talk to him whenever he wants to talk to her. So she is incapable of holding down a job, and that was their agreement. So she has no means to earn income. He's the only one who can earn income, and he sends her money to live. Okay. The attitude that he has towards her about, okay, she comes in the room, she's upset. He says, what's wrong? She explains that he's not doing anything while she is busy doing all of the chores herself. Why can't he help her? And he said, well, I would, but it's your tone. It's the way. No, it's not the way that she's speaking. She's speaking like that because she's
He said
upset.
he said it's your delivery.
Yeah. But like delivery and tone is the same thing. It's like you can't, he has no argument for not helping her. So he attacks her instead, saying the way that you're saying this is wrong and you should treat me with respect and you should speak to me nicely. And of course I would do it if you asked me nicely. Bullshit. No. Bullshit. This is somebody who does not have any comprehension of what a partnership truly is. And it will take a long time for him to get there if Annalyn is willing to be patient with him and to teach him. But I don't think he would be willing to learn at this point. So he makes the
I don't
romantic
think so
gesture,
either. But then
says, like let's go get a pedicure, as if that can fix everything, to buy her stuff and buy him stuff because he gets one too. But like, dude, you don't need to spend money on her. Just pick up your underwear off the floor. Just help with the dishes. That is super romantic.
I agree. The whole segment reminded me of that book. I forget what it's called, but it's something like She Left Me
He
Because
left
I
me
Left
because of
Dishes
the
on the
dishes.
Counter.
Yes, you mentioned that before.
Yeah. It has nothing to do with the dishes. And also,
Mhm.
what does he do when he's at home? Does he have
Yeah.
a cleaner that comes in, or is he capable of putting his dirty clothes in a laundry basket? No.
Who
This is
knows?
like feigned incompetence, and he wants her to kiss his feet and to just grovel to appease him because apparently that's what he thinks women should do. And then when they're getting the pedicure, he says, "Don't ever get too comfortable." I
Oh,
can't tell you what the rest of my comment was. Sir, this is your wife. This is the person that you have chosen to spend the rest of your life with. And as you were saying earlier, you agreed that she wouldn't work. You would support her so that she can be available during like for you during your timeline, and she can't do anything right.
no. Yeah, I think most women probably all shut down when they heard the "don't get too comfortable" comment. What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to be on tenterhooks for the entirety of the marriage, hoping, praying that you will be nice to me? And I'm supposed to be in this high state of anxiety 24/7 because you want me to be softer and sweeter, is what he said to her. That is how demeaning is that?
He said, "When I tell you to do something, you don't listen to me. You want
Yeah.
traditional roles when it applies to you."
Yes.
She only agreed to not work because of you, because that's what you wanted. She's
Mhm.
fully capable of working on her own. She's not, from what I perceive, she's not the kind of woman that's just like, I don't want to work. You can pay for it. And then, I'll do whatever you want. No,
Mhm.
he's an absolute waste of space, a waste of oxygen, and 600 bucks a month. Do you really think that that makes you like the man of the year, someone that women are going to grovel over, they're going to fight over? No, man. Have you looked at yourself in the mirror, sir? You're not even good looking. Calm down. Yeah, I
Yeah.
said it. Calm down.
Yeah. No, for me, it's just the idea
And
that
again, I can't tell you what my last comment.
he wants to keep her in a high state of anxiety, never being comfortable, never being reassured, never feeling loved and cared for, supported 100%. What exactly are you looking for, sir? It is not a marriage. It's some kind of subservient master slave relationship where you can be
Hater.
beaten, killed, cast aside, spit upon, insulted, hurt at any time. You just don't know when it's coming. And that's what you want your mindset of your wife to be. Twisted,
And you want her to say
psychotic.
thank you at the end of it.
Yes, it's totally psychotic.
Mhm.
Yeah. So when
Disgusting.
she tells him not to come home, I was like, good for you. Yes, please, Anna, hold firm to that. Do not come home.
I was really proud of the way that she held herself and the way that she communicated in her interviews. I think, like, I think it's fantastic that she can see his, like, a
Mhm.
devolution of his attitude. And she's like, if you want to have a less bitchy wife, don't be an asshole.
Mhm.
So just don't be an asshole. But he's going to see that as, her challenging his manhood. And no, you get on your knees and you kiss my feet and you beg for forget. Like
Yes.
this was one of the most difficult scenes that I think I've ever had to watch. I don't think I've ever used as much foul language while describing a scene to you without telling you what the scene actually was. I
Mhm.
was I was actually quite upset while
Yeah.
watching this. It was really difficult.
Yeah.
And also I hate his face.
Okay, noted. Let's read on. We've got two more couples left. Well, one is not really a couple. It's Emma by herself, alone, in a different palatial home in Marrakesh. Emma. She calls her friend to talk about what's been going on. Apparently, Ziad has been sending her horrible text messages, and they are kind of horrible. Yes, he should just shut up and move on if that's what he wants, to leave her alone and not be with her anymore. But the shocking news is that she has been talking with Mohammed, her ex, and it's pretty apparent that she wants to get back together with him. Now, she says She doesn't know what she wants, but I think it's pretty clear. If Mohammed was to show her even the slightest, tiniest sliver of interest, she would throw herself at his feet because it's impossible, I think, for her to
Mhm.
not be in a relationship.
I think she's just a pick me. She can't be alone.
Yeah.
And for some reason, she has a hard on for Moroccan men. You know, now she's going to be the one who's groveling. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't think she was ever over
Okay.
Mohammed while
Shall
she
we
was
read on?
with Ziad. Yes, let's read on. Yes, let's read on. Rick and Trisha. Oh, Lord. Yes, they are still together, as hard as it may be to believe. They are still going to go meet her family. And Rick is all about getting the reassurances, the pats on the backs, the attaboys, the you're doing such a great job of being my boyfriend pep talks. However, when he doesn't get that from her, because why should she? He just admitted to cheating on her. He attacks her. It's just so
She
crazy
despicable.
backwards.
When he's like, so now I have lost all sympathy for her
Hmm.
when she said, just relax and show them you're a good guy. You
Yeah.
know for a fact that he's not a good man. He's
Nope.
not reliable. He's not trustworthy. He's not loyal. And he keeps bringing up the fact that she brings up her ex, and I don't know if this was edited out or whatever, but I didn't hear anything of that shit. And he's just like he keeps projecting onto her about the cheating as if you didn't just admit to cheating. And what really bothered me the most was as he's like yelling at her, he's not yelling at her, he's yelling at the wall. And then he does like side glances to her with his teeny tiny little beady eyes. It's like the side daggers. He wants her to tell him whether or not she's 100% committed to him. As if she has anything to prove. She hasn't done anything wrong.
Mhm.
She had a very reasonable explanation as to why she was kind of dodgy for those 5 days. And yet, you know, he did what he did. Like, you don't deserve her trust. What have you done? Like, you're lucky that she is even remotely entertaining you at this point, and yet
Yep.
you're trying to belittle her for what? Like, he's just such a despicable human being, and I feel like every time he comes on my screen, his eyes keep getting tinier and tinier and tinier, and I'm like, "Dude, where are you looking? Who are you talking to? And why is
Mhm.
she even listening to you?" Like, I would like to go back in time to when he told her what happened, and she was like, "Don't touch me. I'm leaving."
Mhm.
Can we just sit with that thought? Because I don't
Yeah.
like or appreciate or respect whatever this shit is.
Agreed 100%. He's being passive aggressive towards her. He's shifting the blame onto her, attacking her, trying to definitely projecting all of his guilt onto her about the cheating and making insinuations that she wants to get back together with her ex when all she's doing is just saying, "Oh, that's a place that I really like and I went there with my ex." Who cares? If you're secure in your relationship, I've said this over and over. If you're confident in what you have, then why are you going on the defensive and or on the offensive and attacking somebody for a passing comment? It should be something that just slides off your back. Okay, so that's the past. And you're with me now, and we're making new memories together. Let's move on. Just the way that he responds to her, this fragile ego getting smaller and smaller all the time and having to lash out at her. Really sad to watch for both of them because for him, it just makes him look like a total fool. And for her, why is she
Even
still there?
more.
What has she got to gain from being with this man 1 minute more? She is so much better than him. She is so much more mature. She is so much kinder, more respectful, and honest and loyal than he is and that he will ever be. Go find somebody better, please, Trisha.
It really makes me wonder how much that green card means to her. Is this like a Daniel Lisa kind of thing? I mean, obviously not the same kind of thing, but like I'm gonna do whatever I can just to get that green card, even if he is an absolute piece of shit. I can't see that, like, knowing what we know about her, the persona that she's been presenting or the edit that she's had. That seems to be the only explanation that I can conceive that would, like, enable her to allow this behavior, to accept this behavior, to move forward with this relationship, and or it's production driven, part of her contract.
Maybe. Yeah. Anyway, that concludes my comments. Any last ones from you?
No, I think I'm good. The previews for
Okay.
next week weren't too enticing.
Mhm.
Maybe with with Rick and Trisha thing, they showed the preview of cleaning a giant knife. Don't know what that means, but again, with the aggression of her tribe, with people that they don't like or behaviors that they don't like, I mean, who knows what that's gonna be like. I think this is like the most disappointing episode that we've had in a really long time. Even though we've had like super boring episodes, this one was just the behavior has been so awful. And the fact that they're giving these people a platform to be able to treat these women this way is disgusting. I don't ever want to see this again.
Mm, I'm with you. All right. Take a deep breath. It's over for another week. Before we go, if you're enjoying the 90 Day Fiancé Honestly podcast, please subscribe to or give our show a follow. If you have an additional moment, please rate us and help other 90 Day fans to find our show. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everyone.
See you next week.